Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm Jay Cartere, and in this video I'm going to be sharing some tips for new PvP players. Now, this is for people who may be coming from PvE to the world of PvP, or people who have been coming from single player to PvP. Now, the jump from single player to PvP is very significant. Now, when you log off in your single player world, everything stays the same for when you come back on. The game basically pauses. When you play online on PvE or PvP, your body actually becomes an unconscious ragdoll, and people can have their way with you, so to speak. They can do whatever they want. They can steal your stuff, and they can, drag you into a terrible place. So if you log off in the middle of the woods, that is a terrible decision. Generally, when you log on to Ark on an online server, you need to build a small base to sleep in for the first day at the very least, or maybe just get some levels and then build your stuff the next day. But you be ready to wake up with nothing, basically. If you play PvE, then you already know about this, but your types of buildings may have basically been more about aesthetics than defense. Obviously, the only real threat you have in PvE is the environment, and maybe some players kiting over a dino to your base or something like that. But you don't have to worry about people shooting you, sniping you, anything like that. You don't really have to worry about sight lines and tactics in defending your base. But in PvP, you have to be worrying about humans, and basically it's a good thing is human error. Human error does come into it, and human skill does play a lot of part into it, but resources is a big part of Ark PvP. Like the tribe that has the most resources generally will win, but a tribe that's smarter and uses that resources in a more effective way, or steals the other tribe's resources, can also win. So as long as you play smart, you can get the W. But I'm going to be sharing a fair amount of tips for you guys. Now, I did just make a whole 22-minute video, and then I don't know what happened, but for some reason my external hard drive just didn't show up on my computer when I wanted to start exporting stuff. So I restarted my computer, and now the video's gone. So that's basically what happened. So I'm going to have to do it all again, but I don't even have my notes here. I've just made up some quick notes from that I remember from my last video. But let's just get into it. My first tip is basically don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick in public chat. Don't be telling people to suck their mum, and just be calling people bitches and all that sort of stuff, because that will lead to you being raided. That will lead to people just disliking you, and that will be detrimental to your progress in that server. So definitely don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. It's really bad. Next tip is don't be too aggressive. Now, you don't want to go on your first couple days and try and raid everyone. You probably won't even have the resources to do that in your first couple days. Maybe in like the first week you'll have the resources to do that. If you've been playing pretty well and you haven't been raided or anything, then in your first week you'll probably be ready for a good little raid. Now, I would say hold off on that. Even though you want to get into some PvP and all that sort of stuff, if you haven't got defenses up, don't go raiding. Don't go raiding unless you have defenses. That's the first thing. And I would say don't be too aggressive. Don't go raiding everyone, and don't just go out raiding all the time, because people will see that you're an aggressive tribe. People will become a bit anxious, a bit paranoid about you, and they'll want to put you down and stop you from doing such things. So definitely don't go out and be too aggressive. Try and play the long game. Think about the politics of the situation. Next tip is don't trust anyone. Now, this is a big thing in the art community. I've heard this many a time. Don't trust anyone. Obviously, you need to trust some people, because you need to forge alliances, and you need to have numbers, and you need to be able to deal with more people. But what I'd say is only trust your tribe completely. Everyone else might have an ulterior motive, and you know, the tribe comes first. At the end of the day, the tribe always comes first. So you definitely got to be making sure your tribe is the priority in every situation you go into, every alliance, every deal you make. You should be thinking about, how does this benefit my tribe? Obviously, you want to make everyone cool with the situation as much as possible. For example, if you have a trade, you want each side of that trade to you want each person in each side of that trade to feel as though those guys are to feel as though that trade is beneficial to them. Basically, you don't want someone to have buyer's remorse and be like they got cheated, and you don't want anyone to be like, wow, okay, I just saw, okay, someone just murdered someone on my screen, sorry about that. And you don't want anyone to have, you know, a bad taste in their mouth, so that, you know, they have some resentment towards you, because that's always bad. That's always bad. It's never very good. So definitely you want to keep on people's good side as much as possible. Definitely if you're a noob as well, I would say don't start posting in public chat and asking for loads of help and all that sort of shit, because that basically annoys me. Like, I think the other day I went out with like tools and stuff to give away to noobs, and if I'm going near the beaches or anything and I'm doing anything around there, then I'll generally just pick up a few drops and just drop that for noobs, like, because the green drops and that sort of stuff, anything that I don't need, I'll just drop it for noobs. Maybe they need these blueprints, this crop plot blueprint or whatever. So yeah, don't go in the thing and start begging for help, because those are the worst people. The people who are in the chat begging for help all the time, like, they're so annoying. Everyone just wants to get rid of them. No one wants that type of person in their server. So definitely don't be that guy. I would say stay out of global chat unless you absolutely have to be in global chat. For example, if someone comes up to you and they're saying hi, then maybe at that point you might want to be in global chat. But otherwise, I'd say, you know, stay out of it. Don't even be in global chat. Maybe, you know, if there's a discussion going on, then, you know, get in global chat a little bit, but don't be one of these people who's constantly in global chat and everyone sees their name and their tribe name and they have conversations with their tribe in global chat. That is the worst. That is super noobish. Super noobish. But yeah, alliances are great with people you can trust, and they're shit with people you can't trust. Be very wary of alliances, because a good alliance is the difference between you being alpha and you being wiped. But a bad alliance is, you know, also the same thing, because basically having alliances, using the alliance feature in Ark gives the people who are in the alliance the ability to bypass your turrets. So that is very dangerous. That is very dangerous when you're doing it with someone you don't 100% trust, or you haven't, you know, built any trust with this person, and they have no reason to preserve your tribe and your progress and that sort of stuff. So I wouldn't go around just using that feature for everyone. Like, when we first started playing, we were using that feature a lot because we wanted to not get shot by turrets and not worry about it. But after hearing of the ghost stories, the horror stories about people, you know, allying with people so that they can get past their turrets and rob them, we decided against using that feature at any point possible. We generally only ally with people who we think are really, really worth allying with. Like, you have to bring something to the table, and if you're not doing that, we don't want to ally with you, basically. So definitely make sure that your allies are bringing something to the table, and also make sure you're bringing something to the table, because if you ain't bringing anything to the table to your allies, then they might just be like, why am I even working with this person? Let's get rid of them. So definitely try and bring something to the table, and make sure your allies also do so. Now, my next tip is about building. It's about starting up as a noob on a server. You need to build small and in a stack of trees. Make sure there are a bunch of trees around you, and don't cut down those trees. I'd say build a 2x1 stone base to start with, maybe thatch, and then go to stone, just so you can put down your bed and your your campfire and that sort of stuff, so you can stay alive in, you know, the nighttime. But generally, 2x1, get a bed there, get some mortar and pestles, maybe a campfire, and that's all you need for the first day. You'll generally only have time to make a small base in the first day. You definitely don't want to start going for a 4x4 mansion or a 10x10 multi-complex. Shit, someone just gave me swamp fever. Oh my god, the fucking bastards. Oh, I've got the game in the background to make sure I'm keeping my eye on politics and whatnot. Someone just came in the base, they killed someone else with swamp fever, and now they're fucking giving it to me, the fucking bastards. Sorry about that. But yeah, build small and in trees. The reason why you want to build small and in trees is because if someone's flying over, it's going to be really hard for them to see it. And also, if you don't cut down the trees, you're definitely less likely to be found. And being not found is one of the greatest things in Ark. For your first couple weeks of playing in a server, you definitely don't want to be found, because you're really vulnerable at that point. It's really easy to get in your base and rob all your stuff and halt any progress you might have. So you definitely don't want anyone to see your base. You don't want to be bringing people to your base. If you want to do any deals or trades, don't bring people to your base, because that's really silly, because then they know where your base is. If you do a trade with them, they might rob you when you're offline. So definitely don't do that. Remember, don't trust anyone. Build small in trees and get defenses up ASAP. Don't be double walling stone. Definitely don't do that. It's a waste of time. Stone, it takes 1 rocket to go through, 1 C4. 2 stone walls probably take 1 C4, 2 rockets. It's not really worth double walling it versus the resources that it takes from the raiders. So I definitely suggest against doing that. Also, get auto turrets and plant X up as soon as possible. Auto turrets are even better because they shoot away grenades and shoot away rockets, and those are fucking amazing. That is great. So get those up, get some bullets in those, get defenses up ASAP. Next tip is dodo kibble, and high level terrors will allow you to defend yourself pretty well if you have the skill. Now, dodo kibble is probably the easiest kibble to get. You just tame some dodos, you get dodo eggs, you use medjool berries and fiber and water and rock carrot, and then you can make some dodo kibble. So I'd say, as soon as you can, put a plant pot down, maybe outside or whatever, get a rock carrot seed in there, and then in about a day, you'll have rock carrot growing in there, and tame up some dodos. There you go, get a cooking pot, Bob's your uncle, you can make dodo kibble very easily. Now, dodo kibble is for taming pterodons, and pterodons are probably the easiest flying mount you can get, and probably the best. Well, they're the best in my opinion, but I don't have a wyvern, so wyverns might be amazing. They're pretty good at killing tames and scaring people, but pterodons are PvP gods. Like an RG, fucking RG. RG ain't doing nothing to a pterodon. Too slow and not worth it. If you get picked by an RG on a pterodon, GG, put your pterodon away. You're not allowed to play this game. Nah, I'm joking. It happens to the best of us. Obviously, there are some good players with RGs, and RGs aren't completely shit. But I definitely prefer pterodons over every other bird, because they're fast. They can get in a doorway. They can barrel roll into small holes in bases. They're really... What is the word? I always forget this word. I always forget a word. Really adaptable. They can adapt to many situations. There's a word for that, but I've totally blanked out right by now. Someone probably put it in the comments section, and I'll probably have remembered by then. But they're totally adaptable to each situation. So they're definitely my favorite bird, because they got the barrel roll and they got the nice pick to get rid of people. But high level terror with tamed on dodo kibble, like around 135 to 150, will give you basically an advantage over all the other noobs. Definitely, like, you'll be able to take out all the other noobs, no problem. Like, we basically built up and got terrors ASAP. We got a bunch of terrors, because terrors are basically the most important mounts in any battle. Any war, you need a bunch of terrors, because once all your flyers go, you're done. You ain't got much chance once your flyers are gone. So you need a bunch of backup terrors. You need a bunch of good ones to start out with. You need a bunch of those, and it's you need the terrors. But once you have those, you can basically take out any noobs, take out most mid-tier people, and the only people you really have to worry about is like alpha, maybe beta tribes, people with wyverns, high-level terrors, people who know about kibble, people who are breeding and that sort of stuff. Those are the only people you're really contending with. And even those, if you got skill, you can win the battle. But if you got a low-level terror, it's really hard for you to win any battles. Because I went to go meet one of our new recruits at the Red Obelisk the other day, and Crossover Raiders came in. I think we actually went to the green because Crossover Raiders had put turrets up at red, but I took a few bullets from the turrets and made it to red. It did made it back from red. I made it to green because I have got like a 43% imprint on my bird, so it does like a little bit less damage, and he's a pretty good level, so it didn't do too much damage. And while I was meeting him or whatever, Fire Wyvern came from behind, lit me on fire, and I was like, oh my god, this just came out of nowhere. So I got the hell out of there. But his bird, which I believe was like a lower level bird, maybe like 70 or something, just died. It's done. One breath, done. Like, my bird was about, I think, a quarter of its health down, maybe even less than that. But I was able to get out, get into the trees, get away, and refocus, regroup and all that sort of stuff. But when you got a low bird, it's really easy to die. It's really easy to die a low level bird, so it's definitely worth getting a better one. It'll take about an hour with Dodo Kibble, and there you go. You got a warfighter. Get like 10 more of them, and you're good to go to war. Next tip: learn from being wiped and raided. Now, while you start playing PvP, you will have to learn to get used to being raided overnight and whatnot. If you take the tips that I've given you and you build incognito and no one finds you, then you won't have to deal with that most of the time. And if you've got good allies, you may not have to deal with that as well. But eventually the time will come. Someone will find your base, someone will get in, someone will steal your stuff. And maybe someone really doesn't like you, or someone just wants to lower the population on the server, so they'll blow up your whole base and foundation wipe you or something like that. After this, instead of crying about it and, putting in public chat, oh, you bastard, why did you do this, and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, if someone, wipes you overnight, then fair enough, they are being bastards. Like, you can ask why, so you understand what you did wrong and whatnot. But generally, what you want to do in this situation is you want to learn how they got in, why they got in, why your defense didn't work, why your building or what you did didn't work out, and work to their advantage, so that you can prevent that happening in future, so that you can stop getting wiped and raided. Definitely learn from your mistakes, learn from your losses. Remember, everything that was destroyed can be regained, and it's just a game at the end of the day. You want to have fun, and it's all about having fun. Next tip is don't build near resources or places where people go a lot. Now, this is just common sense. If you don't want to be found, you don't want to build near resources or where people go a lot. I would suggest, as I said before, building small trees, get defenses up ASAP, but also build around a metal deposit, or maybe around a metal mountain or something like that. Definitely do that. You want access to metal because that is very, very useful. But don't build near resources. Like, don't build too close. Don't build at the bottom of the mountain. Don't build in caves. Don't build in anywhere. Like, don't build on an exploring note either. Don't do that. It's really silly. People will come and they'll find you and they'll raid you. Don't do that. You want people to not think about your base and not be going to do something and then stumble across your base. That is the worst thing that can happen. Next tip: play the long game. Now, background politics and, PSN messages and alliances off global chat and a little bit of background scheming and negotiation and whatnot will work to your advantage. Trying to go to, all out war with people or whatever may not be the best way to achieve your goals. You may be able to achieve it through diplomacy and through, networking and smart positioning. Basically, you don't need to go to war in order to become alpha, and going to war is very, very risky. It's always very, very risky, so definitely think about your decisions before you make them. I personally don't pick up random people on the beach. I know a lot of people that just go and fly near the noobs and pick them up and troll them. I don't do that. That person may be in like a super big tribe or whatever. They may come over, they may remember that I did that and come after me, or that may leave a bad taste in that person's mouth. They may see my name or see my tribe name, and you know, they may hold on to that grudge to come after us. And a grudge is not a bad thing in this game, by the way. A grudge is very good for your tribe. Having a tribe wipe you or take you out is very good motivation for your tribe to rebuild and get back after those guys. So if you do get wiped, remember there's always the silver lining there. There's the silver lining for me because I record this shit, so if I get wiped, it's good footage, but definitely use that to rally your troops and get out there. Now, I believe that's all the stuff. Now, when I recorded it before, it was a little bit more in depth. I hope this worked out anyways. Please hit the like button if you liked it. Also, be sure to subscribe. As you can hear, my throat is absolutely going hoarse now. Like, I recorded about 5 20-minute videos, and you know, just done another one after the one got deleted. So yeah, that's what happens to your voice after that. So I hope you like this video. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe, as I'll be putting out loads more art tips and tricks and, you know, my PvP series. If you want to check out the rest of my art tips and tricks on my PvP series, you can click on the playlist on the screen. Be sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know what other, you know, tips for new PvP players you got, and let me know what other types of videos you want me to make. And be sure to join the ARC PS4 Discord. The link is in the description below. There's a bunch of chats for recruiting, trading, discussions, all that sort of stuff, all that good shit. So be sure to join me over there, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.
It's been a cold winter and it's lasted far too long, so all this warmth I share with you